end up calling it. And stay tuned. Huh?
Yeah. And if you've got an idea of what we should call it, tell us in the chat. Like, we are more than happy to get your feedback.
Right. And maybe we could even get Mark Murphy to put a cartoon of you. I don't know. Oh, there we go. There's some money-making opportunities. Yeah, I think while I'm talking, which is really a danger. Anyway, I want people to show up. As someone who moved down here from Vermont a couple of years ago, here's what I'm going to tell you. If you get outside of Kentucky, and I know you know this, people think that we are not doing the work here. Here's the truth. There are more people working harder in Kentucky than anywhere I have ever lived. And I am not exaggerating, trying to make change with their senator. It hasn't worked yet. It doesn't mean it won't work next. We're not going to do that polar coaster that Aaron talks about. But let's show the world what we got going on down here in Kentucky, because I adopted this state. I love this state, and we are going to change this state. That's all I got. Love, Kit.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kit. All right. So you heard it. Saturday at 3, be there or send your proxy. And we now are going to go to our weekly segment, Following Mitch's Money. Doug Price has done the deep dive into the dark corners of Mitch's campaign finance to find some intriguing threads to weave together into a story we call Following Mitch's Money.
I would certainly be in favor of allowing states to use the bankruptcy route.
During last week's segment, I mentioned the 6 degrees of separation. I realized that one can connect Mitch to various organizations, businesses, and others due to his quest for money, which he uses to create power. The more money, the more power. The more power, the more money. It is circular. I decided to check into the McConnell Center located on the campus of the University of Louisville. Also, following this preview, I will detail corporate and personal donations to Mitch related to the McConnell Center. In May 2020, I made an open records request to the University of Louisville in reference to the McConnell Center and specifically the McConnell Scholars Program. Additionally, I obtained a copy of the University of Louisville's 2017 990 and 990T tax forms to the IRS. The McConnell Center was established by McConnell at U of L in 1991, and Mitch raised a multi-million-dollar endowment to support its programs and scholarships. The McConnell Center endowment totals over $15 million, including funds from the UPS Fund in Civic Leadership and Education. The annual budget for 2019 was $1.2 million. Generally, there are 10 to 11 students in the program at any one time. Graduates include Scott Jennings. He owns a PR firm in Louisville and is a frequent guest on CNN representing all things Republican. Secretary of State Michael Adams, and I believe that Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron is also a graduate of the program. The initial donors to this program included RJR Nabisco, Brown Foreman Corporation, the W.T. Young Family Foundation, and the Island Creek Corporation, for a total initial endowment of just under $200,000. I asked for and received a list of donors from 2016 to 2020. The largest donations were $75,600 from the Humana Family Foundation and a family friend who gave $22,500. Michael Adams donated $500 and Daniel Cameron donated $100 in 2019. Periodically, Senator McConnell will address the current group of scholars and tells them that the key to winning political elections can be summed up in 3 words. And then he writes, money, money, money on the backboard. With the advent of Citizens United making the giving of money essentially free speech, Mitch has raised whatever it takes to buy your vote. Not in the sense that he pays for people to vote, but in the sense that he has unlimited funds made available to him to get his message out in an effort to convince people that he needs another term. He is working on his 6th 6-year term, and he wants another 6-year term this year. According to a synopsis of the program, the McConnell Center is not affiliated with any party and works hard to maintain its outstanding reputation for nonpartisan educational opportunities featuring leaders from across the political spectrum. The list of speakers Mitch has invited to the program is impressive. U.S. Secretaries of State Michael Pompeo, Colin Powell, James Baker, Madeleine Albright, George Shultz, and Condoleezza Rice. CIA Directors David Petraeus and Gina Haspel. She's a native Kentuckian. Chuck Schumer, Hillary Rodham Clinton, Supreme Court Justices John Roberts, Neil Gorsuch, and Clarence Thomas. Former President George W. Bush, Senator John McCain, and former Vice President Joe Biden. The most recent and perhaps infamous donation occurred in October of last year. Christy Trout von Tatenhove, who was a 1999 graduate of the McConnell Scholar Program, gave a $250,000 donation to the McConnell Center. Her husband, U.S. District Judge Greg Van Tatenhove, presided over Jerry Lundergan's and Dale Emmons' criminal trial. They were charged with campaign finance law violations related to Allison Lundergan's run to unseat Mitch McConnell in 2014. A review of donor names amounts associated with the McConnell Center funding indicates the following. Brown Foreman has contributed over $80,000 to Mitch and had lobbying expenses of $1.2 million in 2019. Humana has contributed over $131,000 to Mitch over the years, and in 2019 had lobbying expenses of $5.7 million. Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron worked for Frost, Todd, and Brown, and Humana paid Cameron and Jonathan Miller $162,500 in lobbying fees. Also, Humana contributed over $350,000 to Kentucky politicians. Kentucky Secretary of State Adams has been the treasurer of a PAC titled Kentuckians for Strong Leadership, and that organization had total donations of over $1 million. $100,000 from David Jones, who was a longtime CEO of Humana. $100,000 from a business owned by Joe Kraft. Also, major contributors of over $150,000 were the Kentucky Senate and House caucuses. Again, the 6 degrees of separation circle ties Mitch, Kentucky politicians, major donors, big business, and lobbyists all together to obtain legislation for big business. One last open your eyes figure. From 2008 to 2020, lobbyists and their family members have donated $2.69 million to our Senator Mitch McConnell. Meanwhile, we the people get the short end of the stick. 36 years of his leadership has not helped Kentucky, but certainly has helped the pockets of Mitch, which he shares with others in order to remain in power. We need to ditch Mitch on November 3rd, 2020.
This partisan impeachment will end today.
So I have great confidence in my intelligence people, but I will tell you that President Putin was extremely strong and powerful
We've had
Love
some
you.
technical difficulties,
Bye.
but don't worry about it because it's at the end of the show. And who watches to the end, right? I don't. I'm never going to see this.
Everybody was dancing anyway. Get your roof on.
Get your Ruth on. Get your Ruth on. Get your Ruth on. All right, Kimberly.
You guys are going to be singing that all tomorrow.